Hello, it's a great day here at KEKFILA's YouTube channel. Your number One Piece YouTube channel for Doflamingo commentary. Doflamingo is my favorite deck, and I'm on the left here. And this is actually from July 15th, PLAYTCG, Game 3 of 9. I ended up doing pretty well in this tournament, but essentially what this round is me playing blue, and I'm playing against yellow, Katakuri. He wins a dice roll. He decides to go second, as one does. And I do want to commentate a little bit about the matchup first. The matchup is, I would say, yellow favored. However, I think I found a way to play around it. And even with this, he did have high variance, but I think I could have done something, and I'll tell about that later. And guess I kind of already spoiled the results of this, but that's fine if you've already seen my Twitter. And I had to decide to go first, and I think my hand was just good enough going first. I knew for my game plan. He ends up mulliganing. One thing I do want to talk about yellow, yellow is my favorite real life color, so I actually really like yellow in this game as well. So yellow has a way you want to play against blue. Some yellow players don't know what to do, but I don't really rely on that. So but I think my general strategy is to go wide. No really chance to really play a Mihawk because it can't be very effective. So yeah, and a funny thing about my opponent here, I'm hanging out in the Will to Win Gaming Discord, and there is a person there, Paul, and he lost to this guy the round before playing Rob Lucci. So just interesting how that kind of went through. So I go here with my first turn. I decide not to play any cards, and probably because I don't have a Prona, but I don't need to play a Prona, right? It's not necessary. And he doesn't play anything on his first turn. I swing 5k at the leader, and I play down a Doflamingo Don Quixote. Very important. I'm just trying to build a board, and with building a board, a blocker that's so medium-sized is pretty solid here. And I'm gonna skip through a little bit of this. I organize it the way I want to organize it. He goes to his turn, which he then just swings only 5 actually, so he doesn't use leader skill. And looks like I just decided to counter out. I could have just took it, really could have, but I just decided to counter out just because I didn't really need the extra card. And I swing 6 at his leader, trying to make it again difficult for him, but he's not bricking too much. He's seen some counters, which is kind of lucky. And then I play a hardcore Boa Hancock from hand. I want to fight his field, and this is going to help me fight his field in the long run. I think that's why I was okay discarding Boa, because I'm just going to make up the net and card advantage later. So he attacks me for 7. I take this one, and he attacks me for 6. And I don't remember if it's because of how many cards I have in hand. I do want to draw off of Boa Hancock, but essentially, this is the next turns where I'm going to start fighting both of his board. And it looks like he's going to play a card here, unfortunately. He's going to play a card. So he does that. I'm just going to take it. And he plays a 5 cost, actually. The 5 cost to draw 3, discard 2. Very interesting play. Does set up his 6 Dawn turn, however, pretty damn well. So his 8 Dawn turn when he plays a Katakuri, because he doesn't want to remove anything off my field. So and I don't think I could have countered out of that. I don't know what was in my hand at the time. But looks like I'm just thinking really hard here. I for sure want to kill this little grunt here. And so I swing 8k at that monster and play my Gecko Moria. And then since it dies, I'm like, well, I have no card to play here, so I might as well just only swing 7. He's gonna take it regardless, and then it activates Sparrow. Discarding this, obviously he knew that was on top of the deck. Discards, it looks like a counter of the 1 cost, and then I play the 1 cost Prona. I just need to stack my deck again a little bit better. And I do have a blocker, a decent hand size to guard off of my characters. And he's only going to be playing... He's going to be playing a Katakuri here. It's kind of telegraphed, so I'm able to go very wide with this next turn I'm going on. I don't really care. So he ends up just... Looks like he swings 5 and 5 at my characters. I give him 2 1k counters. Plays it cost Katakuri, putting the Shirahoshi on top of his life, which, you know, is pretty good value here. He's most likely going to take most damages right off the bat. And I do actually want to deal with the Sparrow over time it's going to eat my hand up, and so I'm going to bottom deck it with a 3,000 worlds. That's my first plan. But then I'm looking at my how much Dawn do I have? This, I have that. I swing 7, playing down the Gecko Moria. He does a Shirahoshi skill, draws 3, discards 2, right? So he ends up with 5 cards in hand. After all that, he discards looks like 2 non-counter cards. And I am balancing this out. I do get to draw this time off of Boa, which is pretty solid here, pretty solid. And he gives me a 2K, which again, he's just looking at all these good draws, to be honest, but he's getting the Shirahoshis. I swing 7 at him, and then I bottom deck the Sparrow. Just kind of putting him in that spot. He's gonna 10-drop Mom. He's gonna attack my characters. I'm gonna block out one of these. I'm gonna guard the other one. My board's gonna be so incredibly wide. The unfortunate thing is I didn't see a Love Mellow in this game, which probably would have definitely changed some things, but he swings 8K probably at something. I just block it. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'm blocking that. And swings 5K, does 10-drop Mom. It's a Boa in my life. He puts something on top of his life. So now I'm at 2 life. He's at 4 life. The game's actually... this is how I want the game to be. I really want my board to be wide against his tall board, kind of forcing him in a bad spot. But he can definitely go for lethal next turn if I'm not too careful. So I actually overthink this for quite a while here. And this is kind of where I made a mistake here as well. So... I first used Doflamingo skill, and I pick up a blocker. I just really wanted the blocker so I can place it down. I'm going to need it. I'm not going to just lose straight up. And he decides to play down Cracker. Makes sense. He looks like he discards a Smoothie for that. And I really want to get the draw value off of my Boa for some reason. That was like really attractive to me, but... after the game, I realized, well, I don't really need to do that. I kind of really want the blocker now, more extra blockers, now that he has Cracker on the field. That's the main concern. So I play this blocker, kind of stacking the deck first, so I can draw the card with Boa. But again, I don't need to swing with Boa. That was just a mistake. So this is basically my key mistake. I'm gonna pause for a second here too. This is my key mistake here in the game. It does put him down to 2 life instead of 3 life, swinging with the Boa for 7. However, I didn't have to do that. I could have just waited one more turn, had that Boa out, put him in a different situation. I put 1 Dawn under this guy, swinging for 7. I'm just trying to swing for 7, 7, 7. And kind of just relying on whatever's going on here. So I swing 7, and I think he thinks here just for a moment on what to do. He ends up taking it. And it's another Cracker, which obviously correct. Ditches a 1K counter. And then goes for 7 again at his leader. He decides to counter out of that. He wants a choice of doing this. So he goes to this turn. He top decks. He's told me he top decked this, and which is, you know, honestly pretty rough. This guy has some pretty good variants for this game. But even with him top decking this, I think it may have been a little closer. So... he did have other 10 drops. So he uses his Thunderbolt to get rid of my blocker. Now he has 2 Crackers and 8 Dawn. So it doesn't really take quite a genius to understand that, you know, my hand has like 5 or so cards in it. I can't deal with 2 Crackers this turn. 2 Crackers, and then he's just going to swing with like a Big Mom and those other 2 characters. So just kind of rough there with it, not having 2 blockers. So he ends up swinging 9. I counter out of it. He swings 11. I have to take both of them. There's no trigger activated, and he swings 5, give him a 1K, swings 8, and I just lose. I drew all 3 of my Mihawks, unfortunately. That kind of left me in a bad spot because I can't play those. He could have played Mom that turn instead and did some other things, maybe got another turn, but I felt like basically the Boa Hancock was the main difference there, which it's going to happen. It's going to be unfortunate sometimes, but I'm glad I can bring the matchup to where my understanding is it's going to happen, and I hope you blue players out there can also somehow deal with this yellow phenomenon and that's going on in the yellow meta, because it's not the most favorable matchup, but you can still play around it by dealing with their board, and hopefully yellow doesn't have an answer for it unless they, you know, have pretty good variants. So thank you all for watching this. I really do appreciate that. I'll have another video out tomorrow. Gonna be spamming these videos out, and I will see you all in the next one. Ciao.